Hey, this is Edward here. Welcome to More Geek Than Gay. I don't got anything witty to say because my head is filled with phlegm. So, let's just get to it.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Walking, tiny white stuff.
Well, hi-ho, and welcome to More Geek Than Gay. Now, there's a very good chance that you're going to hear another Welcome to More Geek Than Gay later when we get Joseph on here. But I wanted to kind of kill a couple birds here right now. Kill a couple birds. I don't even know what I was saying there. Okay, I just wanted to get some stuff down first, because don't know how active Joseph's going to be feeling when he gets back from San Diego in California with Gini Koch. Now, they've been off in California for this whole weekend, doing all sorts of things. She's had to meet with her editor, and I think there was a couple appearances at books, and I think there was a book fair or a writer's gallery or something like that. So they've been quite busy. Also, he's been being fed very nicely, and I'm sure we'll get to hear about a couple of those restaurants when he comes on. But that means that I've been basically just home alone this weekend. Now, hey, there was a party on Saturday night for the upcoming Phoenix Leprechaun 2014. And wow, that would have been great to go to. I'm gonna go. Oh crap, I'm sick. Yeah, I've been sick kinda since Friday. I went to work on Friday, and then it really started hitting on Saturday when I pretty much lost my voice entirely. Well, not entirely. It came and went in weird ways. I didn't even get to my Brenda Vaccaro stage. And I wear tampons. I didn't even get to that. So, I don't know what's up with me. And sorry about scratching my nose there. I don't know what that. But, yesterday felt slightly better, but decided, you know what? I'm going to call in sick today because I'm still doing the whole lung biscuit thing. Pardon me. And I'm actually glad that I called in sick today because I'm tired. Oh my god, I did some vacuuming today to try to clean up a little bit before Joseph got home, and that nearly wore me out. Wow. But got some vacuuming done, yay. Didn't vacuum the bedroom, so whoops. But hey, baby steps when you're sick, right? Right, yeah. So, and we just did that last episode that went up late, so that's pretty much everything that's happened to me since the last podcast. It's been mucus and sickness. Mucus and sickness all the way around. Yay, mucus and sickness. So, but that said, there have been a couple little developments here and there. First off, now one of my favorite all-time authors is Isaac Asimov. Am I saying that he was a brilliant writer? No. in his writing, he still came off a little bit more sometimes as a scientist than a writer, because that's what he was. But at the same time, he did have moments that I think are just as effective as really any other writer out there. And he did write some damn good stuff. I mean, the Hugo Awards came up with a special award one year for the best all-time science fiction / fantasy series. And it was between him and Lord of the Rings, and there were some others in there that I can't recall right now because I'm sick. But you know, you'd think that Lord of the Rings would have been a shoo-in, but nope, he won that. The one and only time that award was ever given. He won it for his Foundation trilogy, which later developed into the Foundation series, as he wrote a couple more books into it, and definitely made it draw from his robot stories into his Galactic Empire series, and then into the Foundation series. So it's one big, long Earth, people, in technology and space series now. And truly fascinating. But he died... Oh, when did he die? Oh, I do not remember what year he died in. But I was very sad because I had always wanted to meet him. Still saddened by that I never managed to figure out a way to get to a con to meet him or something like that. But I just found out recently, and I can't believe that I didn't know this, that while it had been reported originally that he had died of heart and renal failure, and while there was heart and renal failure involved, that the reason why he had heart and renal failure was due to complications from HIV. He had acquired HIV and clearly apparently AIDS from a blood transfusion that he had received years before. The family knew about it for a few years before he died, and his doctors had advised him not to say anything for fear of the backlash that could possibly happen because, you know, he had HIV/AIDS. Now, given what I know of him, and what I know of him is basically through his writings and his memoirs and stuff like that, given what I know of him, it seems odd that he would have gone ahead and kept it secret. I kind of imagine him being one of those who really wouldn't care if the rest of the world knew. But his doctors had also warned him that, pardon me, that this anti-HIV or anti-AIDS sentiment and would possibly stretch out to his family. And his family may end up having to deal with that. That is what I think actually probably was the defining moment of, oh, okay, we're not going to mention it. The doctors even went so far as to state that when he died, still keep it a secret because of the potential backlash. And that's why his brother had revealed it as just heart and renal failure. It wasn't until about a year or so later that his then wife, Janet Asimov, who is a psychiatrist and also an author, who had been against it, she met with his daughter, and they decided that yes, it definitely was time to let people know the truth about his death. And I think that's actually great. As someone who is HIV positive, there's something that, I don't know, I've never been one who really cared so much about, like, oh, come on out and tell everyone. But at the same time, that's part of the reason why I try not to keep it a secret, because I don't want people to feel the stigma. And if I can help someone by being open about it, and they can see me being open about it and televising it or podcasting it or whatever, and just, you know, I mean, hell, I have a t-shirt that says, yep, positive, which I probably don't really have that t-shirt anymore because that was about 2 sizes ago, because that was before I became Fat Boy, but, but, you know, there is something that makes me a little angry, and it's more angry at his doctors for perpetuating that whole, you know, negativity that goes with the virus. And while I get that they were trying to do it to protect him and his family, no, that's the type of ostracization that they were actually talking about. They were doing it themselves. Okay? I find it a shame. I actually have flashes of being angry about it. And I know that sounds weird over the fact that this is a man who I didn't know, but really, he was an author that to this day, I still admire his work. I will go back and read his work over and over again. I plan on revisiting the Foundation series real soon here. I have them all sitting there just waiting for me, starting with the robots and moving my way through, because I've never done the Galactic Empire trilogy. So I definitely need to fill that in. But, you know, and I've read his memoirs, and I read the book that were his letters. There is a certain amount of feeling like I kind of know him. Read his editorials in Isaac Asimov magazine, his monthly column in Science Fiction Fantasy. So, and to feel like this is how he had to live the last couple years of his life, with this secret, and a secret that he was keeping, again, most likely for his family. I really do think that that's probably what it was. A secret that he was keeping for his family that would have actually benefited possibly so many other people. You know, many more people than my revealing anything would do. Okay, I mean, he was a regular at conventions and a speaker at functions and stuff like this. It would have been, you know, it was around the time that Arthur Ashe was diagnosed and died, and I guess that's part of what fueled his doctors into being afraid. But, you know, there may have been some backlash against Arthur Ashe, but at the same time, I remember everybody thinking what dignity and courage he had in the face of the whole thing. So, and how great it was that he was willing to speak out. So, I don't know. It's just weird. That's interesting. Sorry, just got distracted by a billboard, because that's what happens when you're driving and you're podcasting. But that was the first thing that came up during these last couple days. Another thing that came about, which I'm going to provide a link to in our description, so look for that, is that there is a comic book writer named Paul Kupperberg. He's been in the business for a long time. Okay, he is. Legend isn't necessarily isn't really the word that you think of with Paul Kupperberg, but he is a great comic book writer, very well regarded. Predominantly worked at DC, or I think still works for DC on projects. did a lot of work with Superman. He wrote a great little piece about the whole Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby thing, and this Siegel and Schuster DC thing, which in this case was specifically with Mort Weisinger, who oversaw the Superman titles in the 60s. Really, he was the driving force of what you read of Superman in the 60s. Well, I've talked about this before, and I've come out a little hard sometimes, but really, I think that Siegel and Schuster were getting a fair shake from DC Comics originally. People who like to talk about how, they got robbed by DC and DC is still screwing them out of the Superman millions, they don't realize that they were making at an equivalent at the time about $1 million a year. Okay, they were the highest paid artistic team in, I believe, the world at the time. But they had it revealed to them how much DC National, I don't remember if it was DC Comics or National at that time, but they found out how much they were making off Superman every year, and they thought they deserved a bigger piece of the pie. And maybe they did. Morally. Except for they already were being treated better than any other people on the DC National staff. Okay? Now, at that time, and I think even still a lot of times now, comic book writers and artists and letterers and all those are work for hire. You don't own what you do, you get paid, and the moment you cash that check, you have agreed to the terms of that agreement, and you no longer own what you did. Any contribution you did, if you said that Superman had, a pink and purple dinosaur as a pet on Krypton, and the editor went with that, well, that's not your idea anymore. That's now the property of DC Comics because you're work for hire, and as the agreement goes, everything you do belongs to them. You can argue that that's not right, but that's how the deal was, and everybody knew this walking in. That's an important thing to know, that while it may not seem fair, that was the business, and that's what people, if you cash that check, you knew what you were cashing. You were cashing that agreement. Okay? And so Siegel and Schuster weren't really owed anything by DC legally. But they decided they wanted a bigger piece, and DC was already rewarding them handsomely as far as they were concerned. And so DC said, screw this, we can get other people to write and draw Superman. And they did. And Siegel and Schuster spent a large part of time after that trying to sue for the rights of Superman. Because they, felt that they deserved it. Decades later, Siegel, I believe it is, he was brought back in to write some Superboy stories under Mort Weisinger. And again, it is a work-for-hire contract. Now, there's been follow-up suits regarding that. Whether or not the things that he developed for Superboy belong to his family, or whether or not that's DC property. The courts have the last suit that went through which is bankrupting the family. But the last suit that went through basically states that that's property of DC Comics. There's no question. And as far as how the rules went, unless he had some sort of special proviso in his contract, and there have been artists that did. Bob Kane did a great job with his contract. And the creator of Wonder Woman did likewise. Unless there was a special proviso, and I virtually guarantee you that they've, especially Mort Weisinger was not known for his generosity. They didn't own anything there, and therefore, again, legally, there's nothing to even argue about. This is just whether or not we believe that morally at this time they're owed something, and that's a whole other issue. And it comes down to really complicated things. It's because that's really what it came to. The real story that is easier and more current for people to hear is the one that happened with Stan Lee, because you'll still hear people talk about this one. How Stan Lee didn't do anything, that Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko did all the work, and Stan Lee just put his name on it, and then wrote some scripts over, wrote words over top of what they did. There's a script for Fantastic Four #1, written by Stan Lee. It clearly shows that Stan Lee designed the Fantastic Four. He may have had input from Jack Kirby in the original development of it before it got typed, but the typewritten script is Stan Lee's idea. Stan Lee was the editor of Marvel Comics, and he also was the writer. In many ways, like the only writer until his brother would handle some things, and eventually they started hiring other people. But it was him, a little bit by his brother, and then a couple artists. All of these guys were under the publisher, Martin Goodman. Jack and Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko believes that he deserves co-creator credit for Spider-Man. And Jack felt that he was being treated unfairly as far as his input into things went at Marvel. Both of them blamed Stan Lee. Stan Lee had fashioned himself as the vocal frontman, already doing speeches at schools and stuff like that, signing his name with a big flourish on pages because people knew who he was. But he still was just the editor under Martin Goodman, and he still was work for hire. When he was telling Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby that there was nothing that could be done with what they wanted to do, well, mostly he was probably correct. He didn't have the power that people think he did. Martin Goodman was very demanding. He's a very colorful person, and it's most likely, honestly, a lot of the problems really were him saying no, and then Stan having to be the person who told them because he was the face of the company. But at any moment, Stan Lee could have found himself in the exact same position, but he decided to stick it out. So why does Stan have everything and Jack and Steve don't? Because Stan Lee stuck it out, and when Martin Goodman sold the company, Stan Lee was still there. Stan Lee with every new purchaser and every new contract and everything, managed to find ways to work himself into it so that he was guaranteed those creator rights that everybody wants, that he didn't have to begin with. Okay? The creator rights that everyone thinks should be taken for granted were not his. And he worked to get them back. But the only way he could do that is he stuck around in the system. Paul Kupperberg, back to what I was originally saying, wrote this brilliant piece that really paints a light on this from the inside. Okay? This is a guy who, he was around probably for part of this. He knew the players. He's met them all. And he knows the business. He's been in it for so long. He really knows how the business works. And he really paints a beautiful and somewhat very balanced story. He doesn't mention the part about why Siegel and Schuster left. That's my little coloring of the story, because I do personally think that that's significant as to why DC sometimes possibly didn't feel as compelled to work with them, because they had already been being worked with as far as they were concerned, and they still wanted more. He doesn't include the stuff about Martin Goodman. And okay, that's not really his point. His point is that there really aren't these nice clear-cut pieces, and people who think they know what was going on don't. And I really recommend anybody who is interested in comic books or anything like that to read those and get an idea. Like I said, I'm going to include a link to that, so look out for that. Okay.
Welcome to More Geek Than Gay. I'm Joseph.
Hi, Edward here.
He's slowly coming to bed.
I am.
Edward's not feeling good.
I'm not. I've got a cold.
I just have allergies.
So, snurf. So, okay, I've got a cold. That pretty much catches you up with my week.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's go with the week stuff.
So, now you.
Oh, I had a very busy week. This past Thursday, the world famous sci-fi author Gini Koch and I, we drove down to San Diego.
Hi, Gini.
For the San Diego State University's Writers Conference over at the Doubletree and Hazard Center, Mission Valley area. It was nice. I had a good time. Got there Thursday night. I got to meet Jeannie's editor. The awesome editor is the nickname I gave her, or that we have for her. From New York, from DAW, which is her publisher.
DAW.
So had a good time. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to do something really quick. Sorry. Let's see. Met awesome editor. Ate wonderful food. I physically could not get into the conference, but I was able to do a lot of other things that needed to be done. For Genie and as well as for Compete magazine. But let's go with the food, because the food was just, when you go out with Genie or any convention or any conference, food is plays very highly on anybody's palate. And so, as well as cocktails, but that's another story.
Food should always play on a palate.
Exactly.
Just like paint.
Yes. So, let's see. Friday morning, Thursday night we didn't eat. We had cocktails, but we didn't eat food. Friday morning we ate at the hotel's cafe. All you can eat breakfast. Wasn't bad. Lord knows I've had worse at a hotel, but it wasn't bad. Then Friday night, I went out. My friends Scott and Will picked me up, and we went out for dinner. We went to have pho. I thought it was pho. I have no idea how you say it. It's Vietnamese. It's very good. Ate a lot of food. Then we went for yogurt for dessert. And then Scott and I dropped off Will and Will at his place. And Scott and I went to the Caliph, which is a gay bar in San Diego. It's a piano bar. And every Friday night, Don R., I believe, and Rhea Carey sing. Well, Don he sings and plays the piano. Rhea Carey is a cabaret singer. She's also an actress who does musicals around the valley, around San Diego, around the valley. I've lived here too long if I'm saying the valley for San Diego. So, long story short, we went for drinks. She's wonderful as always. I adore her. She's got a great song. She's got a great voice. We've done productions together, both with me as Joseph and the gay and lesbian band I used to belong to, as well as Jaji hosting an event that she was singing live at. So it was nice to see her. This bar, again, like I said, cocktails. Any drink that you get is very strong. Any mixed drink you get is very strong, and it automatically comes as a double. So, woohoo!
Doubles! Toilet troubles.
Exactly. Saturday morning, Scott, Will, and I went out for breakfast at this one restaurant called The Huddle, which is a little hole-in-the-wall, really good food. I had pork chops and eggs and all that, and hash browns. They do breakfast and lunch, and then in the evenings, they close up shop, and it is part of Mama's Kitchen. And in San Diego, Mama's Kitchen is a kitchen that makes dinners for people in the HIV/AIDS community, and so they will make a dinner for this community, and you sign up for it, of course, and they will deliver you your dinner. So Mama's Kitchen, San Diego, big shout out to those people. I volunteered there a couple times, but my schedule didn't work out, so I could really do much. But whenever you eat at the Huddle, a portion of that money goes to the Mama's Kitchen. So eat at the Huddle. Then let's see, we went to the swap meet. I needed razors. Then we went to check out the new San Diego Central Library. Gorgeous. Really liked it.
Weird looking building.
Very, very.
It's like a nightmare hodgepodge of different designs all stuck together with aluminum siding.
It's not aluminum siding, it's steel.
Looks like a hodgepodge of different ideas all stuck together with aluminum siding.
Are you talking? Is Gini on there now?
Yeah.
Looks like she's typing.
Yeah, because, she has deadlines to meet, so of course she's online.
She's online because of her daughter. That's the only way she could get a hold of her daughter. So anyways, and last week, or maybe it's been 2 weeks now, the San Diego City Council approved unanimously, because they're not stupid, the expansion of the the convention center. So Scott and I and Will, we all went over to see the expanded area. So it was fun. It was interesting. They're going to expand out to the pier that's right there. Is the plans. And so the convention center is going to be like an L now. And then, I know.
Like an L.
Yes. Let's see, what else? Saturday night. It was, on Saturday was Gini Koch's birthday, as well as my mom. Happy birthday, Mom. My mom is 60.
Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday all those people I keep forgetting to say happy birthday to. And thank you for all the happy birthday wishes, all the people I forgot to say thank you to. There we go. Off the hook.
No.
Continue.
Because your birthday was in December, so how could it be off the hook? It's 2 months later.
Yeah, and I've now said thank you to all of them.
You never said thank you to me. Exactly. So,
I just did.
anyways, so we went out. We went with Glenn. It was Jeannie, myself, Glenn, another DAW author who lives in San Diego, who I cannot remember her name, but I will call her the other DAW author. And then the awesome editor. We went to Bertrand's Mr. A's. French. Wonderful. Unbelievable. So filling. 3 courses. Disgustingly good. If you ever in San Diego and have a special occasion, I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend that you take a loan out. But it was just unbelievable. There were nothing bad about anything I ate. If I wanted to get nitpicky, you know, which I won't tell you why I would get nitpicky, but if you ever wanted to get nitpicky, it was something very minute. But I'm not an Iron Chef judge, so I don't have to be nitpicky. Or a chop judge. Sunday, that was Saturday night. Sunday, I ate at the restaurant, hotel's restaurant. And then Sunday night we went out for Thai at Lotus Thai in Hillcrest. I got to have soft shell crab, which I've been talking about.
Yes, you've been wanting to.
I've been wanting to go to soft shell.
Again.
Again.
Because you've had.
Yes, I love soft shell crab, and you know they're only available for 4 to 6 weeks a year, so now's the time to have them. So I had soft shell crab, and then that was Sunday night. That dinner was Jeannie and I, other DAW author and awesome editor. And then Sunday, Monday morning, Jeannie and I took awesome editor to the Big Kitchen, which is in Golden Hills area of San Diego. If you're ever in San Diego, I recommend this very highly for anybody. It's a little hole in the wall. It's been around since 1981. Judy the Beauty Foreman is the owner. She's a old hippie. Lots of food, pretty good prices, great tasting food as well, and it's just comfortable.
What's her face from 40 Minute Meals went there?
Rachel Ray went
that's
$40 a day. Her original show.
30 Minute Meals, $40 a day, not 40 Minute Meals.
She went there for breakfast when they did the San Diego thing, the San Diego episode. She went there for breakfast. It's been written up in countless of other food magazines, you know, of a place to go to. Lots of character. If you go there and you bring a picture of yourself or an area, you could put it up on the wall. They've got tons of pictures everywhere that just people put them up on the wall. So we did, and we had breakfast there, and then we took the awesome editor to the airport, and then Jeannie and I basically packed up and came home. Got home at about 9:30 on Monday night. So very long weekend, 5 days. Had a good time. I didn't want to come back. Aside from Sunday, every day was gorgeous and sunny and warm. I'm actually walking around with the boys on Sunday. I really wish I would have packed shorts, but I didn't, so I was wearing jeans. Scott wore shorts, but that was my weekend.
Scott always wears shorts, doesn't he?
As much as he can. If he could wear shorts, he would rather wear shorts than pants.
Yeah.
That's a California thing.
Yeah. So how, I mean, now you met up with the Lego lady.
The what?
The Lego lady.
Oh, that's right.
See, I guarantee you thought I wasn't listening to you at all last night as you told me things.
On Sunday afternoon. Oh, excuse me. Sunday afternoon, one of Jeannie's, there are a group of people who I call Superfans. And Jeannie and I had this conversation during this trip. Superfan to me is any fan who is willing to travel to see their favorite author, their favorite star. And travel as in, DarkCon. We basically had the Montana Girls, Missy, and Paul, Montana Ghost came from actual Montana. Paul came from Ohio, and Missy came from Maryland. They all traveled to hang out with Genie for the weekend at DarkCon. So, you know, they traveled thousands of miles to come and, you know, see Genie. That's a super fan. Marianne, while she lives in San Diego County, she doesn't actually live in San Diego. So it still took her 20 minutes to come and have lunch with us.
She lives in National City or something?
She lives in like Carlsbad, Solana Beach area, I believe.
Okay. Have you ever figured out that National City is the only other attached or whatever nearby city I know from San Diego?
Yeah, because there's a lot of Mexicans.
Well, no, because anytime you mention it, that's the one city I'm going to mention.
No.
Because I met someone from National City, and I went, oh, there's a National City. And that's the only reason I know the name of National City.
The nickname for National City is Nasty City, but that's another story.
Oh.
So Marianne came and visited us and had lunch with us on Sunday. Nice woman. I met her back in July. I really like her. She is a professional Lego builder. She used to work at Legoland. Now she has her own company and she has her own blog. The company she's works for is called, well, the company she owns is called Model Building Secrets. And you go on the website. She does conventions, corporate conventions, to, for instance, the Ronald McDonald House had a convention. I'm sorry, the Ronald McDonald Corporation. McDonald's had a convention, and they asked her to build the Ronald McDonald House in Legos. So she did like I think it was like a 2 or 3 foot Ronald McDonald house, you know, for them. She also does cute little keychains, and she gave us to them. And Jeannie told me that you guys couldn't see this, so hold on, let me get a little closer.
And for those of you on the audio podcast, you can't see it at all.
Exactly. So the first one, these are little keychains, see?
Well,
and
here.
the first one is an owl, and these are made entirely, as you know, for those on the video, they're made entirely of Legos.
Ooh.
So I got that. She let me, you know, I was able to get this from her. And then for the geek in me, a ghost from Pac-Man. I got an orange ghost. She also had other colors, but I like the orange ghost better. So orange ghost, yay!
I think that's Clyde.
I don't know the names of them, but I can't remember the names of them, or don't really care for the names of them. I'm just saying.
Okay. It's like, wow, and we have a little TARDIS too.
Yeah, when I was here in July, or when I met her in July, she gave me a little keychain TARDIS. I don't know where it's at.
I don't know either.
It's packed somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have 2 of those. The roommate that dare not speak its name has his in his car, dangling from his rearview mirror. But I don't know where the other one is.
Oh, excuse me. So,
we're dehydrated, by the way. So you may get to hear a lot of, like, swallowing of water or liquids.
Well, I've been doing most of the talking, so no wonder I'm dehydrated. So it was nice to see Marianne.
I'm just being dehydrated just by existing right now.
Yes, you're sick.
Yeah.
So it was good to see you, Marianne, so thank you. Let's see, what else? Well, anyways, so, Superfans. Superfans, to me, is not a bad thing. Superfans are people who come to visit. Before we got to be friends with Genie, I would never have considered us a superfan. Because the 2 or 3 years that we didn't get to be, really get to know her, we only saw her at Phoenix Con, and so that was once a year, and we didn't go to Phoenix Con just to see her. We always stopped by and said hello, because we knew her. So we weren't even considered, I don't even consider us superfans.
Yeah, we kind of became more friends with Genie than fans of Genie, and we became fans more as it went on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think we qualify. There's another name for that, actually. A superfan. There's also BNF. Big name fan. Now, superfan and big name fan are 2 different things.
Yes.
They are 2 different things. But BNFs are fans that are so well known to the whole thing that other fans know this person as a fan. That's a BNF.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they're like the ones that a lot of times do the magazine, or they'll put up a website, a fan website. They'll do the BNFs. They're the ones that other fans are aware of.
Okay.
Even. Yeah. Matter of fact, conventions used to, and I till this day still don't fully comprehend this one, but conventions used to, they'd have like their author guest of honor and actor guest of honor, and they would have a fan guest of honor. And it wasn't like a fan choice guest of honor or whatever. It was actually just a BNF of a certain fandom. And so I don't know if they still do fan guest of honors, or if they still do fan guest of honors that way.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, the BNFs are a big thing. And Michelle was a BNF.
Gee, I wonder who it was with.
Yeah, it was Duran. But she actually called Duran, or Nick Rhodes would call her up in the middle of the night because he was bored. And just chat with her. But, so, there's superfans and BNFs. And the two can meet, because most of the time a BNF is a superfan.
Yeah.
But being a superfan does not necessarily make you a BNF. And, you know what, being a BNF, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes with BNFs. With being a BNF. Because part of the reason why a lot of times people know who a BNF is because they hate you.
Oh, really?
They're envious of... They're either one of your underlings, because the BNFs will have a whole bunch of fans that are under them to a degree. It's kind of like Amway. Yeah, it's really weird. But it's like the BNF is their leader and their representation to the fandom, the star, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's going to be more than one BNF. If you're not one of the underlings of that BNF, there's a real good chance that you hate that BNF. Michelle, she had her little underlings. She also got death threats from other fans because another BNF, they were under her. Matter of fact, I think one of the BNFs that used to be one of her rivals, I think she now works at Entertainment Weekly.
Really?
She's an editor or something like that for Entertainment Weekly. Yeah, I could be mistaken on that. It seems like there's some sort of Duran fandom connection to Entertainment Weekly. And maybe she doesn't work there anymore, too. This was 3 years ago, I thought it was. And while sometimes magazines keep people from a long time, sometimes those things just start rotating out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's still the case. But yeah, being a BNF is actually, in my opinion, sounds like it's much more hassle than it's worth.
For the most part.
Yeah. I'd rather be a superfan.
Well, either way.
If I was going to be. Yeah.
But who would you say that we are a Superman fan for?
Wow, I don't know, because there's not really anybody that I will travel across the country to go see.
There isn't any.
Even if I had the money. Because once upon a time, years ago, I had money and could have, and I didn't. But when you had money...
When I had money, I was a super fan for Prince because I went to Los Angeles and Las Vegas to see him in concert. As well as, Phantom of the Opera. Super fan.
Yeah.
I've been all over the place to that, but that's another thing. But anyways, let's get back to the super fan thing. But just because of the fact that I wanted to how we were saying it, like super fans are the ones who will travel just to see you. And when I say travel, I mean longer than a half hour, 20 minutes, half hour.
Ooh, I want super fans. We need super fans for this podcast. Because super fans sometimes make cookies and stuff.
But how would we don't have people who watch us. who come in and watch us.
Oh.
Are we going to put up chairs for them to watch us on our bed?
But they could go meet us at conventions and stuff. They don't go watch Gini while she's working. They go see her
while she's working at a convention.
Well,
that would mean that we'd have to have a booth.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
Not necessarily.
Or panels. We have to make...
People go out of their way to see Patrick of Scream Queens, and he'll go to like a horror convention, and they're going, because they know he's there, they'll go to see him. And, you know, they wanted to go see a convention, the horror convention, yes, but they're going out of their way to see him, even though he doesn't have a booth. They're busy hunting him down. Stalking him, if you will.
Stalking him.
Yeah.
That gives us another... That leads me to the other
But he'll hang out with them, so many of them are nice.
Yeah, but that leads me to the other thing. It took me... when I was talking about Superfans to Gini, she kind of had a panic look on her eyes. Because to her, at the time, not anymore, she had to reevaluate her idea. But to her, a superfan was Kathy Bates...
I'm your biggest fan.
Exactly. So she was very apprehensive on, you know, using the word superfans for people that we like and know.
I'm now picturing Marsha Brady being a superfan for Davy Jones.
So, those we dub creepy fans.
Creepy fans.
We still like them because they're fans.
But we don't let them know where we live. We don't go to places with them alone. There's always supervision around the creepy fans.
Yes.
So, if you ever invite someone that you're a fan of out somewhere, and they make sure that they have an entourage around them, you may very well be the creepy fan.
For the most part. So we had that discussion, and we basically labeled, you know, super fans and regular fans. But like I was saying, it's like we were not super fans with hers, for her, you know.
Yeah, we
didn't go out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would see her once a year, and that was it. For the most part, you know, we didn't. When she did all the other cons, you know, when even in Tucson does the Tucson Festival of Books, we didn't go to Tucson.
No, still haven't. Well, you have now.
No, not yet.
Oh,
that's not until March.
I really would like to go to that. I really hope I can figure out a way to get...
You'd have to take Friday off.
Oh, I can't do it then. Well, I mean, I can.
If you go with us, you'd have to take Friday off. Maybe, but...
Because I just have X amount of days that
I know,
I can
but I'm
do
just
for
saying.
the whole year.
I know.
But,
speaking of which, she must have... I swear... We were together for 5 days. When Gini and I are together any length of time, it's kind of scary on how connected we are, so to speak. We start ending our sentences ending each other's sentences. It's kind of like a married couple kind of a thing.
yes.
So apparently, because I was just talking about her and talking about our weekend, she just messaged me on Facebook saying, "Hey, I need you to do something for me." Blah 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 blah. So yes, Gini, I'll get right on it after the podcast. No problem. And actually, I've kind of figured on that anyways. And I will do it today. Don't worry. So.
Yay. You know,
what?
Your thing about the Superfans, do you still have more you want to say about Superfans?
No, that was it.
Okay. That actually kind of semi-segues into something that I was thinking about. Because I just...
Sorry.
Okay. I don't know why. Oh, I was going to make a joke about something, but then I went, ooh, let me make sure I got my definitions right. And so I decided to look up kind of what's considered the popular culture definition difference between geek and nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a nerd. I am so not a geek.
Really?
Yeah. I have certain geek qualities, but for the most part, I am a nerd. You are more a geek. You're a little multi-geeky, but you're still more of a geek.
Okay.
Geeks are people, apparently, who... multiple websites came up with this too, so I didn't just go with the first one, because I went, really? And I decided to check. Geeks are usually people who are enthusiastic and knowledgeable and blah 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 about a certain subject.
Okay.
That's why you'll have Phantom of the Opera geeks, or you'll have football geeks, or you'll have, they geek. But in general, they're kind of what you consider a well-rounded individual. They're very social. They get along well with others. They don't they don't really multi-geek that well so much. You're not looking at them going into other geek pastimes or whatever, or nerd pastimes, actually. Nerds, on the other hand, typically have quite a few fandoms that they're fans of. A little bit more reclusive, withheld into their fandoms and their nerdities. Even fandoms that they don't know that they're not part of, a lot of times they're very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
They know more about it while saying, "Oh, I don't really know anything about that because I don't follow them." They'll still know more about it than people who just have heard about it and think that they kind of know about it. Nerds will say, "Oh, I don't know anything about it," and still know more, because that's just what nerds are and do. Nerds are less social, typically more awkward around people. And hey, that was I was considering that to be one of my geek qualities. Okay, I am awkward around people, but I talk. Okay. Also, another interesting thing, which definitely puts me more in the geek category than the nerd category, is that geeks will go out with other geeks, but in general they go out with just whoever. Okay? Geeks have a whole wide playing field of people that they can date and marry.
Uh-huh.
Nerds go out with nerds. Nerds are pretty much, because of that lack of socialness, because people said, "Oh, we don't know why this is." I can tell you exactly why. Because of that lack of socialness outside their safe group of other people who know the things that they know, well, that's who they're going to meet, is other nerds. And they will continue to do their nerd activities, and they will get married and have little nerdlets.
Okay.
And I find that interesting about this whole definition between geek and nerd. So apparently the podcast should be more nerd than gay, but it doesn't have the right. Yeah, it doesn't have the right.
It doesn't sound
ring.
right.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow.
It doesn't at all. And it did, while I was reading this, it did make me a little bitter.
Why?
Because
you're no longer a geek?
No. It made me bitter on entirely a different realm. That as a geek or semi-geek or whatever we want to call it, you possibly won't understand this one. But now, don't get me wrong, I like geeks, clearly, and I talk to geeks. I like people who aren't geeky and everything. I talk to whatever. Okay. There is this whole geek culture thing that is going on that, and it's spread out into media and stuff like this. And it's Big Bang Theory is kind of the media extension of this whole geek culture.
Yes.
Where they're actually nerds. They're nerd culture. Okay? But you have all these geeks that are really grasping onto the show and taking it as their own. And that's great because it's a good show, very talented, great to see that people have really latched onto it. But you also have these people who are going, "Oh my god, I'm just like them." And it's no. You are a geek. You have one or two things that you really are passionate about. You don't comprehend what it really means to be a nerd. And to have people roll their eyes while you're talking about something because you realize that you mentioned something just a little too out there for them that you think is normal.
Okay.
I mean, you possibly have had it happen with you with your geek moments, but then you can slip right back into it. Nerds have difficulty not having that happen. And there's a little bit of a kind of a co-opting of the nerd culture that is going on that has me a little bitter. It's not everybody, but it's like media and big business has decided that there is no difference between geeks and nerds and we can toss them all together. And it's actually saturating and killing out nerd culture. And my big example, and I think, in spite of everything, I do think you'll understand this one. San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. San Diego Comic-Con was a great nerd mecca. Okay, there was gaming, there was comic books, there was sci-fi stuff, Star Trek things going on, da-da-da-da. Every year it has become more and more and more mainstream, and everybody still calls it Geek and Nerd, but it's like, no, you've actually taken away a lot of the nerd culture from it, and you've made it just a big media event. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our nerd culture stuff is actually being taken away. And I know that sounds funny to talk about nerd culture, but really, just like how there's gay culture, where because people had to get together in communities and form their own language and places to meet at and things like that, the same thing happened with the nerds. We had to get together and we made our own conventions. Yes. We made, we did all this. We made the fanzines. We did, and it's kind of, I actually am, after I started reading that and started thinking about it, I'm actually a little bit in fear of nerd culture being kind of wiped out and watered down, and then when people are no longer fascinated with the world of nerd/geek culture, when they've moved on to their next thing, we're going to have to pick up the pieces. Although San Diego Comic-Con is always going to be a big media thing now, there's no turning back for San Diego Comic-Con. No, there's no. And don't get me wrong, it's enjoyable for what it is, but it's not a comic book convention anymore. It is a media convention. Most comic book conventions are no longer comic book conventions. Even the Phoenix one has really started shifting quickly over to being a media convention more so than a comic book convention. And comic book conventions typically also had Star Trek people and stuff like that at it. Okay, because there were Star Trek comic books anyway. Because Trekkies are freaks. Trekkies will go anywhere if you provide them with free booze. But now, and I haven't gone, I really wish I had a chance to go to it, but the amazing Arizona
But you were sick.
Comic-Con, yeah. That looks like it is being just a comic book convention.
Yeah, because Phoenix Comic-Con touts them as the signature pop culture experience of the Southwest.
And it is a vacation destination for people now. It is one of the big cons now. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, you will see me there, whether I was working there or not, you would see me there at Phoenix Comic-Con having fun. Christopher Golden's going to be there.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No. I love Christopher Golden. I saw him at San Diego Comic-Con.
Phoenix Comic-Con is starting to announce who's coming.
Cool.
The big names in television and film are Bruce Campbell and Mark Shepard.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of others there.
Well, yeah. And then you've got your comics.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I honestly thought that the invitations had gone out already because they had...
They probably already have, but what they're doing is they're
I was told releasing. By others. I was told by others that, no, we haven't received an invite yet. And I'm like going, oh, I thought they actually had handled that already. So, but that's my whole thing with the geek versus nerd thing and why it became a little bit of almost bitterness. And like I said, I know that this is something that maybe just sounds weird and made up, but it's like, I seriously have had more grief as being a nerd than I have ever had as being gay. Okay?
Okay.
And I am proud to be a nerd, geek, whatever we're calling ourselves this week. I am very proud of that.
and very happy of every moment that I have fought to be able to just like go, screw it, I don't really care if the rest of the world knows that I'm a nerd. I will wear this as a badge of honor, everything. There actually is a bit of a fight that goes on to do it. And there are other nerds and geeks out there who will I think there are some geeks out there who will understand it. But there are other nerds out there who will definitely get what I'm talking about there being kind of a badge of honor of growing up successfully as a nerd. And
You're successful?
I've grown up successfully. I'm not saying that I am successful.
You've grown up?
Mostly. Poop. Okay, so, but that's my thing. I know it sounds a little weird, but
Something you stated earlier, that nerds don't typically go out with geeks, but geeks will go out with anybody.
yeah, that's kind of that's where I fall more into the geek category. I've never dated a nerd.
Yeah. Because I'm
It's
not
weird.
I'm not a nerd.
Yeah, I've never dated a nerd.
And you've dated even less geeks than me.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
It's
I'm
part of my weird
thinking-
crossover thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
just
and the
like
fact-
how I was a big nerd in school, but I could still get along with the jocks and everything. It's apparently a communication level that I've learned. So, because, my nerdy people are not known for their communication skills.
Neither are you.
But apparently I've learned a good enough set of communication skills that I can go outside my world of nerdness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also not shy on a microphone. I'm not shy. I'm reclusive, but I'm not shy.
Yeah, well, that was also another thing we were talking about on the way home, is that how opposites attract.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I'm the extrovert and you're the introvert.
For the most part.
Except for when there's times, like at DarkCon at the pajama party, I was so tired and worn out. You were the life of the party and I was just sitting there in the corner.
I was the life of the party?
With you and Red?
Oh, well, Red's the life of the party wherever she goes.
But you were going back and forth in between the rooms with her.
Well, I was going to try to win a
And
snake.
then the snake. Oh, and then when you got the snake, the things you were doing to that snake. Poor snake.
You have no idea the things that were being done to a snake in the other room. Oh my god. I was so boring with the snake. I'm just really glad that I'm really glad that I won the snake that was not being fondled so much. Oh my lord. But
So, anything else?
along those lines, no.
All right. So, let's go on to the next subject.
What's your next subject?
I don't have one.
Doctor Who's new uniform has been revealed.
Oh, you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi?
I don't know how to say his last name. I'm going to buy yours.
Oh crap. Peter Capaldi, we'll say that.
Peter,
they've
blah,
revealed
blah, blah.
they've revealed pictures of what he will be wearing, and I really, really like it.
Yes.
It's very modern, very, I mean, it's basically black all the way and everything. Yet at the same time, it really brings forward the feel of the old Doctor Who outfits. It's just a long. It's a not really a long coat. What would you call that? It's not a long coat.
Well, it goes
past his hips.
Yeah, it goes past the hips, but I guess mid thigh.
Yeah, but I've
Because
never heard of
he's-
a mid-thigh coat.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, because I mean, a long coat, that's an actual type of coat. I don't know what this is called. Many people have actually compared it to the second Doctor's outfit.
Pertwee.
Pertwee, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it gives that kind of a vibe.
It does. And you got the white cuffs and the white collar, which Pertwee had the purple velvet opera coat and the ruffled cuffs and collar, as well as an opera cape. And I'm really curious what his accoutrement will be, because they all kind of have one. Tennant and Eccleston didn't have one really strong, and the first Doctor didn't. But in general, they all kind of have a little just either a hat or a prop or something like that that they use that they bring with them, that you can, if I say Doctor Who celery, you automatically know Peter Davison Doctor.
Yeah.
If I say Fez, bam, Matt Smith. Scarf, you know who I'm talking about.
Leather jacket.
Leather jacket, although, yeah, I mean it was, but I actually consider that to be one of the worst of the Doctor Who outfits.
No, but I'm just saying leather jacket.
It
You
is.
think of Eccleston.
Yeah.
But anyways, not changing the subject.
Going back to more the heart of his costume.
Back to his costume. I just went on BBC's website, and they have a description of it. Sporting a dark blue Crombie coat with red lining. Dark blue trousers.
It's dark blue.
Yeah, dark.
That's even more striking. I thought it was black.
I knew it was. No, because the shoes are black, and you could tell it was a different color.
Okay, I wasn't. I didn't pay attention to
dark
shoes.
blue trousers, a white shirt, as well as black Doc Martens shoes.
I did notice they were Doc Martens, so I did see the
Doc
shoes,
Martens.
but I didn't really pay attention.
I didn't know they were Doc Martens.
Oh yeah, English. Of course, he's got Doc Martens on.
But see how it is a different color, and
Oh,
it's
it
not
is,
and then it's not a different shade of black. It's a different color.
Yeah.
So that's what BBC says about his outfit. So.
And like I said, I love how the cuffs, are shockingly. I mean, it's the right length for a cuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's so noticeable. The white cuff against that jacket. It really. And the second Doctor is the one to think of, Pertwee. But it's a very modern, and it's not opera. I don't see him sporting a cape anytime soon.
And that's what he said. The actor Peter Capaldi. Eventually, we'll learn how to say his last name. He's quoted saying that the Doctor has woven the future from the cloth of the past, simple, stark, and back to basics. No frills, no scarves, no messing. Just 100% rebel Time Lord. Well, Stephen Moffat added, new Doctor, new era, and of course new clothes. Monsters of the universe, the vacation is over. Peter is suited and booted and coming to get you.
Yeah, and actually, it is interesting. Eccleston kind of stands on his own. But Tennant's Doctor, you could almost see, even though his is very casual, and it could just be some schmo walking down the street, too. But the coat that he wore was a little bit reminiscent of the tweed, or the long brown coat that the fourth Doctor wore before he went to the red velvet coat during the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
But the long brown coat, it is very reminiscent of that. Matt Smith, his outfit actually had echoes of the second Doctor in it. Which is Patrick Troughton, who had the little bow tie, and he was kind of described as more a tramp look.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And then Capaldi is going back to more the third Doctor. I keep on saying the second Doctor, but I meant the third Doctor. Which was Patrick Troughton? No.
I thought it was Petrie.
Pertwee, yes. It's not Patrick Troughton, that's the second Doctor. But, yeah, I was very amazed, or very interested when they showed that. Also, guess what's turning 40 years old this year?
What?
Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Dungeons & Dragons is turning 40 this year. They're on the 4th edition. For many of us diehard fans, 4th has been considered kind of a watered-down video game version of the game. And you know what? Maybe that is good. I mean, people are playing a lot of video game type stuff. Maybe that does appeal to the right audience.
Maybe.
I actually like the world building that they did with 2nd edition, but I love the system they came up with 3rd. Or 3.5 actually, when they kind of fixed a couple little errors here and there. I think 3rd is where they should have just kept on going. A lot of people think 3rd is where they should have kept on going. That's when they came out with their special rules, was it D100 rules or D10 or system or... I'm focusing through mucus.
I don't
But
know. I
that's
don't.
where
I don't
they-
play D&D, so
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
It was an open license agreement, basically, that allowed other companies and other people to use their character building system. And therefore you could kind of go back and forth if you wanted to. And Piazzo Games, eventually, they came up with a lot of supplements for the Dungeons & Dragons. When they decided they were going to upgrade to 4, Piazzo went, well, we really like the system that we've already done, and we have so many different things. And they ended up developing Pathfinder, which everybody tells me is excellent. I have not dealt with Pathfinder, but Pathfinder is basically based on 3.5. It might be based on 2, but I'm almost positive it's based on 3.5. And 2 would be a good system to be based on 2,
Yeah.
to be totally honest. 2 and 3.5 were the 2 best systems. I go all the way back to the original books. And I enjoyed it, the original and all that, but really 2 was good and strong. 3.5 was really good and really strong. To be totally honest, my preference is for the Saga system, which was done with cards. And
I don't know Saga. I know Sega.
Yeah, I know.
Does that count?
Almost. Saga was great. Saga never got enough play. Saga needed to be developed more and pushed harder, and they just didn't do enough pushing of it. And the way that they put it out, it wasn't... There were little gaping holes in the structure of the game that, oh, they filled those holes up if you bought this supplement and if you bought this supplement, but it would have been nice if they had put it with less big holes in it. And therefore the supplements would have smoothed things, but not just actually fill in the cracks. But it was a brilliant system because you had the random stuff of like dice, because there were cards, you didn't know what you had, but you had a deck of cards and you got to play, so you still got to choose. Okay, I have this one really bad card and I have this one really good card. I'll play the really good card right now and hope that I don't run into another monster and like end up being eaten by it because I have this really bad card. It really put playing back in the hands of the player even more so than really any other system I've ever seen. But they're supposed to be coming out with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition soon. They're playtesting it. I have this feeling that they will do it for the 40th anniversary. So I'm very curious to see what that is. I actually have all my Dungeons & Dragons books still. Would love to find a group to play it with that, knows hygiene.
So
My
you're never
people
gonna play it?
don't. I know my people
Yeah.
don't know deodorant well.
No. Or she's taking showers.
I know.
That's why.
If you go to a convention, you know that bag that you take with you? Take a couple moments and go to a dollar store and get a dollar store stick of deodorant and a dollar store thing of cologne and take that with you to the convention. And people will remember you because you are not like a good chunk of the rest of the people at the convention.
Also, the fact that if you're gonna go to the convention and you want to sleep around, make sure it's within the first 2 days, because the third and fourth day they haven't showered
Yeah.
since the first day.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You're busy, and it's a crowded room and all that. But you know what? Carry those things with you. Take a little moment to go to the bathroom and apply, come back out, and people will remember you as, oh, the fresh one that didn't smell bad. So, but D&D turning 40. Woo!
Can I wake up now?
Aw, come on. So,
I know, I agree, Garfield. Garfield just looked at me and gave a big yawn. I agree.
Garfield always gives a big yawn.
So, TV.
He's a cat.
TV.
TV. Yay, TV.
Oh my God, you made me watch this show just so we could talk about it, and you
Oh.
don't, and then you just completely shut up and not do anything.
I thought you were going to say something.
TV.
TV.
Wasn't that a big enough
Okay.
segue for you?
American Horror Story, Coven.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Dead air because he just sat there.
Well,
Well,
I'm sick.
so,
TV. American Horror Story, Coven.
we're caught up. We saw the episode.
There's only one more episode.
One more episode.
Still no Nan.
She's dead.
Everyone else has come back. But.
And so is Fiona. Fiona's dead now.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
No, she has to be dead because the daughter who has second sight again, when she touched the blood, said she's dead, and the Axeman fed her to the gators. And even Missy, the swamp witch, said once the gators feed, I can't bring them back.
Oh, yeah.
So she's gone. She's dead.
And Marie Laveau, she's dead.
Yes, Marie Laveau's dead.
Because she had been cut up into various pieces and buried around town.
Yes.
And therefore she would not be able to fulfill her yearly duty to Papa Legba. And so Papa Legba canceled her contract. And with Marie Laveau dead, that meant that Madame
Kathy Bates,
she could die, and she was killed, and they went to hell.
Of course. Well, duh.
Well, but we got to see their hell.
Yes.
With Papa Legba. And then we got to see Queenie's back.
Well, yeah, she's
and
been
be more
back.
powerful.
She's been back.
But be more powerful and helped bring back Misty, who beat the crap out of Hollywood.
Yes, thank God.
Which, by the way, when Hollywood was like going, you hit like a girl, I'm like going, oh, do not egg on the swamp witch. Okay, people in the South, she's gonna like just kick your ass. There's no chance you Hollywood of being the winner in this situation. Okay,
there's Garfield
stretching and
showing off his butt.
Then there was Wimpy Girl and Franken Boyfriend. They came back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember Wimpy Girl's name.
I don't know her name.
And
it's the end of the season. We don't really know many names.
I know. You can tell what characters actually stuck with us. Like, I have no idea what Wimpy Girl's name is. And then the Axeman.
After he killed Fiona, he got killed.
Right, but he killed Fiona right as she was going to talk about how when she was a kid she had a cat sunk. And it was like, never going to hear that story.
I don't think it really was. Yeah.
It sounded like she's starting a story.
No, I didn't think so.
But, and now they've kind of got everything all tied up, in theory, and now they're just going to be doing the 7 miracles to see who the next Supreme is. Which means that there's going to be some sort of shit that's still going down.
Well, there's
and nothing I don't think Fiona's dead.
No, Fiona's dead. She was fed to the gators. She's dead. Because, and all of them are taking the test.
All of them are taking the test.
So we'll find out.
But, and there's another little thing, not Clarice. Oh, I had her name just a moment ago too. The daughter poked out her eyes so she could get second sight again.
I don't know.
They've been making this big deal, a lot of people talking about it, making a big deal about, oh, now she's back to being powerless again. And, you know, all she had was the second sight. And it's like, no. No. When she had the second sight and her husband came to see her, she slammed the door without touching it.
Yeah.
She's had other powers that she just hasn't used. And as she said while she was trying to touch Hollywood, those powers can come out in emergency situations or places where you don't feel safe or whatever. So it's possibly stress-induced or whatever, but she has these other powers that can come out that she hasn't finessed. There's a little part of me that's wondering if she's playing that she actually has been playing a little bit of a game somewhere along here.
They've all been playing games.
Yeah, but what's hers?
I don't know, but I'm saying they're all been playing games on each other. I mean, look at the redhead witch.
We love her.
Yeah, but she thrives on the games that she's playing.
She does. She does, but we love her. She's so stylish. And supposedly, the whole thing about next year's being circus has been squashed.
I never didn't hear about that.
Yeah, next year's is going to be apparently taking place in a political realm, most likely Washington, D.C., which partially explains why Redheaded Lady last week, when she was giving Wimpy Girl the tickets, she made references to her friends that were politicians. And she also made a reference to something that happened. I can't remember what the name of the person was, but it was something that happened during the whole McCarthy era of communism.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's even people who are wondering whether or not it's going to be another throwback year like last year's was, and it's taking place mainly in the past.
50s.
Yeah. But what you got? Because you look like you researched and found something.
I did, but nothing really. Things, you know how things always go in threes.
Yeah.
There is some bad news this past weekend. There were 3 deaths of people I knew. Actually, 2 I knew and 1 I knew of.
Okay.
Well, my one friend that here in Phoenix, Danny, passed away. And then I can't say her name, but somebody that we met recently, her mother passed away.
Yes.
Danny passed away on Saturday. Our new friend, her mom passed away yesterday, and then last night found out that my first, who I considered my first boyfriend, passed away.
Okay.
So I saw his celebration of life is going to be on this Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm not going. But I just saw it. So I won't be there. Not because of how things ended, it's more the fact that I've got a fundraiser at 12, so there's no way I can go to a funeral service and then a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Same thing as like Danny's memorial services on Sunday. We have Super Bowl. There's no way I can, do both.
Right.
So, anyways, so that's, you mentioned it, so I said it.
Yeah.
That's what's going on there. Yeah, yesterday was very interesting between Gini and I. It was like getting a bunch of phone calls. It was getting so bad that we were getting so weird, so eclectic kind of phone calls that, when we stopped at the rest stop, it's like, don't check your phone. If you don't check your phone, it doesn't exist. So, but TV, that's basically it, because, I was gone, so,
Yeah.
You got caught up in Almost Human, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we watched Rachel and Guy.
Yeah, but we never really
We don't really talk about that. Although I still say Penn Jillette is the one to look out for.
Yeah, so we're watching Rachel and Guy Celebrity Cook-Off. It goes against my rule that I started with the whole Paula Deen thing, and I just, because of the celebrities, we started watching it. They kicked off Chris Kazan. Kazan?
Saturday Night Live, Mango.
Mm-hmm. He was the first one to get kicked off, and then...
And, he earned it.
He earned it.
He worked hard. I think he worked harder to get kicked off and earned it more than Gilbert Gottfried did.
Yeah.
I mean, true, Gilbert Gottfried just made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but apparently they were really good peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They thought about keeping him.
And then,
Catan,
yes. And then who would they kick off this last time? Jake something or other, the Bachelor.
Oh yeah, The Bachelor.
Parnaval, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
He got kicked off, and he was...
But we still have Florence Henderson, Tiffany, Penn, of Penn and Teller, Herschel Walker.
Yes.
And 2 others. Judy Gold.
The comedian, yes.
Who made pork and shrimp egg rolls, and she's kosher. So that was fun. And she won.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, who am I forgetting?
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice, yes. So those are the ones that are left, and I know Joseph's never been really a big fan of Penn and Teller and everything, but
No.
Penn went into this, and first of all, he has like a base set of skills, and one of the things that they had to do is they had to make something and then sell it, and how much they sold of it was part of whether they won or not. And well, he's been doing like sideshow stuff and all this since he was basically a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of his well-known history. So, of course he won. He knows how to just do that all day long. Also, they're all doing this to win money for charities. Okay, so they are all wanting to win it. They're not necessarily doing this because they want to necessarily be the best chef. They're doing it to get money for charities.
Yes.
And therefore, yes, they're going to do what they can to win. And, you know, a lot of them will practice at home or look at the rest. He used his resources in the best possible way that I'm really surprised that no other person has ever used their resources on the show, and talked to a whole bunch of chefs in Las Vegas and had them show him basic recipes for various things. And that's what he's been pulling out. He made a great steak last time because...
Not last time, the first episode.
Oh, the first one, yeah. And then he made this chicken thing this time that was not... It would have been better if he had if he had grilled it instead of pan-fried it.
The way Rachel.
Right. But he was able to pull out stuff each time because he did his research before going in. So that's what I'm saying. I think he may be the one to beat.
So that's it for movies.
That is. Well, TV, yeah.
TV. Movies, we don't go to the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. But, really quick, I did finish Daryl Dawson's book.
You can't talk about it anymore. La 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 la.
And
la 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 la. La 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 la.
I will say this.
La 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 la. You already talked about it. No more.
I finished it, and the main complaint, and you can take this complaint however you wish.
I'm not paying attention to you anymore.
The main complaint is this is way too short. This needs to be at least twice as long. So, Mr. Dawson, get out there and write the longer version of this. Give us more. Okay, that's my one complaint. So, other than that, very good. Very good, very effective, and fairly original in how it brought forth certain things. Because, again, it's one of those things where it went down roads that you're kind of like going, oh, I think I've gone down this road before, but not this way. And I like how he didn't avoid going to the ending that really had to be. So, do you have anything else, honey?
Nope. Aside from, we're going to talk about Thursday. This Thursday, hopefully, I should say Thursday, January 30th. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central Standard Time, 7 Mountain Standard Time, and 6 Pacific. We will be on the Blog Goddess radio podcast.
Yes, we will.
Both Edward and I.
Being interviewed.
Being interviewed.
Woo!
About More Geek Than Gay.
Yes.
So, looking forward to it.
You can actually call in and ask us questions.
Yes, the last 10 minutes, I believe. I'm looking at the
10,
email
15 minutes or something like that, yeah. Although it's not the last because there's something else that she does at the very end.
Well,
but
yeah,
it's towards the end.
Each show includes 10 to 15 minutes for guests to call on the show. So when you call, you will be on the show.
Yeah, it's a live show.
So feel free. Well, no.
If I say fart, it's going out live.
Oh, God, you know he's going to say it now. So the telephone number to call in is area code 347-838-9025. What are you doing?
I was trying to sign it.
Do you know how to sign?
Yeah, but I did the 838 in the wrong order. I did 883, and then I went, oh, well, now I'm telling deaf people to call the wrong number.
So, feel free to call. I mean, that's the number that you could call no matter what the blog goddess has on. So if you want to call.
Yep.
So thank you, Tina Marie Williams, for doing that for us, as well as her producer, Jamie Butcher.
Your guess is good.
I know. I just ruined your last name, and I'm sorry because that's what I do. Edward doesn't remember names, and I ruin names. So call, listen,
Yes. We love
share
you.
the love. Funny.
And now, with that, I guess we can go on to kind of like fan stuff and everything. Listeners. Yeah.
Yes. Now we talk about.
We had Darren Brightman. Actually, looks like he recommended us to two of his friends. Thank you, Darren.
Who?
Darren Brightman.
How do I know him? That name.
I don't know. He's in Oregon.
Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
And we did get 2 comments from the audio or the video podcast, both from Tina Williams.
Oh, Tina. Okay.
First one, I'm a California girl. Does that explain a lot?
Yes.
Okay. Also, I love Garfield, especially that Garfield is your little ham.
Well, not this week.
Yeah, not this week. He's just tired. And then also, thanks for the shout out. Yes, it's available on Amazon Kindle. That's referring to her book, the Undead Winter Undead.
The zombie book.
Yeah. And yes, you can certainly read this one and go on to the full length. In fact, I recommend it. Read her books. Read her books. That's what that comes down to. And guess how many comments we got on the audio podcast?
None.
Right. What the hell? But we did get a whole bunch of downloads.
Well, that's good.
And it freaked me out at first. Because my first view when I go on is showing me the download history and what people are doing. But it does it as a graph. It's not telling me specifics. It's showing me just an overall flat graph thing.
Yeah.
And the graph like spiked in such a way that I had never seen it, that it made the rest of the graph look like just little tiny bumps. And what it is that we have some people who are going back and getting all of our past episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like going, oh my god, we had a whole bunch of people, and we had like our, kind of our normal numbers for the audio
original,
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, but we had a whole bunch, we had some people go back and get everything. So, whoa. Thank you very much. And we have another review on iTunes.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
5-star?
5-star. Matter of fact, I never read the first one. From Jadis White. Title is Entertaining and Funny. 5 stars. Edward is, I think this is before you had joined on.
Okay.
Okay. Edward is one of the funniest and most interesting people I know. His opinions and thoughts on nerd, geek culture, gay culture, and life are going to entertain you. I recommend this podcast to fans of the Nerdist. It's like a hostful every week. Hostfuls are my favorites on the Nerdist. Listen and enjoy. And that was from Jadis White. And then... Hey. Edward here. We had a small technical glitch. Basically, the battery ran out on the camera, so we couldn't keep recording. And now that the battery's been charged, well, Joseph had to go somewhere. So I'm going to be talking about the iTunes reviews by myself. One that I never got to before that we had is from Jadis White. It says entertaining and funny, 5 stars. Edward is one of the funniest and most interesting people I know. His opinions and thoughts on nerd/geek culture, gay culture, and life are going to entertain you. I recommend this podcast to fans of the Nerdist. It's like a hostful every week. Hostfuls are my favorite of all the Nerdists. Listen and enjoy. Thank you. And then also, from the Blog Goddess, we got Fabulous with Extra Icing, 5 stars. These guys are hilarious. I love listening to them about everything. They crack me up, and it's the first time my ADD hasn't kicked in. I put them on and listen all the way through and want more. I highly recommend adding this to your addiction list because you will become addicted, as I have. And are you stuck over there, Garfield? Okay, you're good? Okay, you're good. So, sorry. I believe the first review is back from when I was doing the podcast basically by myself before I brought Joseph in. And then Blog Goddess, that was just a recent one. Thank you very much. So we appreciate your love and keep it coming because, like I said, the more reviews, the stronger we can become. Okay? That is going to be pretty much it for this week. It's more than enough for this week. It ran a little bit longer than I intended to, but that's perfectly fine. I would like to thank you all for being part of our little family, helping us grow. And I look forward to catching you all next week. Also, don't forget, and I know you heard a bloop, and that's because Gini Koch just messaged me. So, also, don't forget, we're going to be on the Blog Goddess, so you want to make sure to stick around for that. That is going to be this Thursday. That is the 30th. That's going to be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do your division all the way over to 6 p.m. Pacific Time to find your when you are. For me, it's going to be 7, so that's going to have to take the night off of work. And you can give a call in. We're going to give the phone number again as part of the podcast information. So please, we look forward to hearing from you. That's going to be a live episode interviewing Joseph and I regarding the podcast and whatever else pops into the Blog Goddess's mind. So, I want to thank you and catch you all later. Bye.
I agree to accept the following terms and regulations put forth by the administrators of this community and blah, blah, blah. I accept. Hey, listen up, newbie. We gotta get a few things straight. Who these people are that can wait? This is my boy, my world, my space. I wrote every rule, you gotta read them, okay? Cool. I guess it's it, man, but straight. And if you need something, I'll be up kinda late like 2. See, that's when it gets bad. People start blaming and everybody's mad. That's when I gotta bust out the band. Trust me, man, some of these people just can't stand one another. So I gotta cover up a scandal. Nah, dude, I can't let you know my aim handle. Drop it. I'll grab your IP and block it. If you can't stay on topic, you got it. If I wanna lock it, there's no way you can stop me. Confident, cocky, the cubicle jockey. Confident, cocky, the cubicle jockey. Confident, cocky, the cubicle jockey. Obey the moderator, create a state of calm. Scan sentences and announce who's wrong. You are a troller, 1 week ban. I know your other screen name, man. Obey the moderator, I cater to the regs. Hook 'em up with handles and blow all the threats. You are a liar, permanent ban. I'm over by your password, man.
Why don't you tell about your sick kid?
My sig's kinda big, but it's tasteful. Might blink a bit, 80K, there's no way that I be wasteful. People get hateful, but hey, it ain't new to me. It can get crazy in this community. Dude, you gotta unlock your caps. Never argue, I'm better walk, looking straight through the facts. Even then they never relax, it's all grudges. From 6 months back, still nobody budges. The worst? Hackers, scum of the earth. Attack us and laugh as we back up with word. But whatever, I got an upgrade up my sleeve. Trade off sleep for new security. It's part of the job, I don't mind it. And if you break a rule, better believe that I'll be the one to find it. I'm tracking down every last duplicate account. I'm on my way to admin, there's never been a doubt. I see that you are new to the community and soon to be in trouble and improving, so you really should be listening. Obey the moderator, create a state of calm. Scan sentences and announce who's wrong. You are a troller, 1 week ban. I know your other screen name, man. Obey the moderator, I cater to the regs. Hook 'em up with handles and float all the threats. You are a liar, permanent ban. I'm over by your password, man. Obey the moderator, create a state of calm. Scan sentences and announce who's wrong. You are a troller, 1 week ban. I know your other screen name, man. Obey the moderator, I cater to the regs. Hook 'em up with handles and float all the threats. You are a liar.
Okay, now that was Obey the Moderator by Optimus Rhyme. Got yourself some little bit of nerdcore rap there. Yay! Thought I'd bring out some of that. Please do remember, we're going to be interviewed by Tina on the Blog Goddess this upcoming Thursday. That's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern. Figure it out in your time zone. Here in Phoenix, that's going to be 7 o'clock because, like I said, that's when I got to take time off. We're going to be live, talking for about an hour. It's going to be about the podcast. It's going to be about other stuff. Whatever pops into her mind, I'm game. You can call us and ask questions. That number is 347-838-9025. So we look forward to hearing from you. Also, don't forget about Joshua Tree Feeding Program. They're a group that helps out people with HIV and AIDS get food. They also have a pet program that goes with it that makes it so that people with HIV don't have to make the decision between feeding themselves and feeding their pets. Their website is www.jtfp.org. They're a non-profit organization, all volunteer. Any assistance you can offer, they will be more than happy to receive. And if you would like to get a quick little taste of the Blog Goddess, you can check that out at www.blogtalkradio, all one word, .com/theblog, and that's THEBLOGG. Probably Blog Goddess, but it's just the blog. So you can check that out. See what she's got going on. She does a lot of financial stuff, but she also interviews authors and just whatever else pops in her head is a good show. So, until next week, thank you all. Please feel free to rate and comment us. To comment and rate us. And keep on coming back. Thanks. Bye. What do you know? It is the Blog Goddess. So... You know where I said it's the blog and then a second G? That's just because for some reason it didn't show the whole thing to me. So it is www.blogtalkradio, all one word, .com/thebloggoddess, all one word. Catch you on Thursday, hopefully. Catch you next week, definitely. Bye.